How have you guys been? Welcome to Chatting with C. I am your host, Miss C, of course, right? Hey. Y'all already know I'm super excited. I'm pretty sure that has been my word probably for the last year and a half is excited. I just excited all the time. Like, calm down sometimes, right? But I'm super excited because things are just taking off in such a way that it's almost a little scary. But I'm super excited about it. Worked hard for it, and to see things just really coming to pass and see things really manifesting themselves and to just really get a vision of stuff, it is very exciting. And so I do stay excited. I don't just use it when I'm doing the videos. I am often excited just about life and growing and evolving and relationships and just all kinds of stuff. So I'm always excited. But today's word I'm going to use is actually two. I'm very amused. I'm like very much amused. Like, I'm just in awe of the way things are coming together. And I'm also very grateful. I mean, very grateful. Try to make sure that I stay grateful and show my appreciation and stay in those moments, because the more you do that, the more the universe gives you opportunities and moments to be grateful for, right? And to keep me on that frequency that continues to attract that kind of feeling and those kind of situations and opportunities. So I'm very excited all the time across the board. I'm very amused and I'm very grateful. So that's where I'm at today. I hope that you guys are having a great day as well. I did get a question, and this is going to seem a little weird because I've actually never done this before, and I kind of struggle, but I'm okay. We're going to do it anyway. I got a question about how to be accepted, how to get people to accept you. And I thought, oh, that's a really good one, right? Because we as people want to belong. We want to be accepted, right? However, as I was thinking about the video, and I am going to do a video on it, it will be the next one. As I was thinking about it, I thought it was more important to start somewhere else and lead into the belonging and the acceptance. And I thought about what makes us even want to belong. What makes us think that we don't belong, or what, pieces are happening in that space for us to feel the need to be accepted. And what are we doing to be accepted, right? And to feel like we belong somewhere. And it started me thinking about values. And so this video is going to be about values, because as I was thinking about it and just kind of looking at the way the world is and listening to people and looking at my own circles around me, I started wondering and just doing some of my own work, what the values are first, right? And I was talking to my therapist. I do take therapy. And we were getting through some breakthroughs at some certain points, and she had asked me, well, I want you to watch this video and do this exercise on values. And I was like, oh yeah, I help my clients with that. We do values all the time. And so you always think like, oh, I'm good. And I did the exercise, and I started to realize that my values that I had in the past had changed. And that the values that are important to me, do they really align with the person that I'm wanting to become? Excuse me. And oftentimes we hold on to the same values for forever, but they don't always match. They're a little outdated. And then we look and we see some people who don't really have any values. And that's obvious in the way that they move, in the way that they carry themselves. That shows up in their work ethic. That shows up in how they live their life, or their values are totally different. And, that's okay. Everybody's values are going to be different. Let's just say that out the gate, and that your values are going to change over time. Say that out the gate. That's okay too. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in, because I think this is a really good topic that I don't feel like we're really talking about. And I feel like society is giving us what's valuable and placing the worth and the value on us and on things. And so we're following it, but our lives are still feeling unfulfilled, and we're still not reaching our full potential and living a happy life, because I think we really need to work with the values. So what are values? Values are what a person uses as principles or standards of behavior. One's judgment of what is important in life is a value. Your values are the things that you believe are important in the way that you live and the way that you work, right? They're like guides. Values are like guides that motivate us to act in a particular way or keep us from acting in a particular way, right? You grow up and your parents always be like, remember your morals and your values. Remember your morals and your values. And you're like, yeah, I do. I remember. What are they again? What's the value again? Mom, what'd you say your value was again? And that's my value too. Our values are different, right? And I think we need to have a clear idea of what our values are if they're so important that they're guides and they're standards for how we show up and how we live and how we work in life. And values are personal. They are personal to you. They mean what's important to you. To you. Your parents' values, of course, they indoctrinate us with their values, right? Because they're raising us. And so we begin to take on their values. And usually they got their values from their parents. And then it's being passed down, right? These are the things that we found valuable in this family. This is what we consider worthy. These are the things that we consider to be of importance. And there's nothing wrong with that because they help us to get through childhood and grow up. The only problem is that sometimes they're outdated. And sometimes if we don't know what those things are, we tend to start doing things here, there, and everywhere. And then we can't figure out why things are not happening for us. Well, because you're everywhere. You don't really have a set guide. You don't really have a set of characteristics or traits or things that are important to you in life to help you along the way, to make sure that you actually are getting to actually live out the life that you want. That you're actually getting to fulfill your potential, that you're actually reaching and doing your purpose. Like, we don't have those values. And if you're using old values and trying to become somebody new or operating in a new space, that doesn't work either because you're never going to feel fulfilled. Values change as experiences change, obviously, right? As you grow and as you evolve, the things that you once found important are not so important anymore. It's like older people. For example, when they're younger, the house, the car, the family, working, that's all very important to them. Getting to 65 to be able to retire so they can go and live their best life and do all these things, right? And then all of a sudden, at 70, all those things are not important to them anymore. Their values have now changed. Their health is important. They're valuing that. They're getting up and they're walking and they're exercising. They're eating better. Their wellness is important. Spending time with family is now a value that's important to them. Relationships, friendships, like those type of things now become values that are important. Those are now the things that they live their life by. Those are now the things that they're doing on a consistent basis as they've gotten older because their scenarios and things have changed. They have stopped placing value on certain things and started finding that in this space, other things are now more valuable and are going to help me get to that next space or to help me live the life that I want to live at this age for the next couple of years that I have alive. And I don't mean to say couple like at 65 you only have a couple, but if you spent your whole life working to get to retirement and then you don't actually get to retirement, you could have actually done something different. Interesting. That's another topic for another day. But your values should be their core things. Every business has values, right? Here's our value statement, or here are our values. These are the things that we take serious and that are important to us and how we should be showing up to you with our services or through our product. Same thing, right? Businesses have it. We as people and individuals should have values as well. And we should know what they are. We should know why they're important to us. We should know how that value actually plays a part in our lives as well, so that we can continue on a good and awesome path. A lot of chaos and a lot of strife and things that we're going through is based off us moving in a space that is not in alignment with who we are and who we are intended to be, for one. And for two, it's because we're just out here trying and doing anything, right? Most of us are in survival mode all the time. And when you're living in survival mode, you tend to obviously be about trying to figure out how to survive by any means necessary. Doesn't matter. You have to survive, like, period. We're all trying to survive. No big deal. But a set of values will help you know that certain things I'm just not going to do. No shade to anybody who wants to do it that way or whose value is that. Totally fine. It's just not my values. It's just not what I find valuable. And that's what you need to determine for yourself. You need to be wondering and asking yourself, what are my values? And hopefully this video should provoke some thought in that area. Do I know what my values are? Do I know what's important to me and what is worth a sacrifice and what's not? Do I know the priorities of the values? Do I know how those values will help me to reach my goals? Some people have like values and it's totally fine. Again, your values are yours, but there are certain people who want like fame. They find that valuable. So they're going to do any and everything that they can to have that fame, right? To get that fame, like, because they find that valuable. Status is valuable to them. Being up here, being recognized is important. These are all values that people can have. And so that's in the space that they operate in. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Like, that is who they are. You know, that is important to them. Those are how they base their decisions. Them deciding to stay at home or go out, them deciding to wear this, to wear that, them deciding to befriend these people or not these people is based on their values. Because if their values are status and fame and recognition and you know, all of that, then they're probably not going to hang out with somebody who doesn't have the status, whose values are not those, right? They're going to hang out with other people who want fame, because together we're going to be doing stuff that's going to get us fame, right? Like, you're going to be doing the same kind of things. I'm going to be doing the same kind of things. Like, whatever we're on, we're both going to be trying to get the fame. We're going to be getting the status, the recognition. That's important to us. Nothing wrong with that. Whatever your values are, they're yours. But you got to know what yours are. Period. And why it's important to you. What's the why behind the fame and the status and the recognition? Why is that a value to you? Why is that of importance? What does that add to your life, to your quality of life? For you to be able at the end of the day, when it's your turn to go and to leave this earth, for you to sit back and say, I had a good life. It's going to be based on those values, because that's what your standard is. That's what you're setting your life standard on, are the values. Some people value material things. Society has shown us and has continued to condition us and continues to pour into us that material things and tangible things are of value. They have placed a high importance on these things. They have said that this is the standard, and that in order for you to be valuable or considered valuable, you need to have $1 million house. You need to be driving, $100,000 cars. You need to be dressed in head to toe from an all designer, have on 8 designers at one time, because that's important. They have poured into us over and over that you need more and you need more and you need more in order for you to be valuable. And people are now doing any and everything to reach that level, and still getting it and still finding that they're not happy, that they're still a void, that their lives are still not better, because you've been chasing somebody else's values. You've allowed somebody else to put their values onto you and pour into you with it, and now you've been chasing that, when all the while chaos and anything to get you this status has been happening to you here and there, and it's because it doesn't align with you. It's because you need to reevaluate your values and determine what's really going to help you get to the next space. It may not be material things. The truth is that if you value material things, if you have a value, you want houses and things like that, there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody is saying there's anything wrong with that. I want them too. However, it's more important to me to have other values first that will all play together to help me get to that space, that I don't have to fight to get there, that I'm not doing just any and everything to say that I'm there so that you'll think that I'm cool. Now, this is why all of this comes together with the belonging video, which is why I said I'm going to start here before I do the belonging video. Because if you're trying to be accepted and trying to belong in a space that you don't belong in, that you have to be somebody different to be in, you're in the wrong circle, you're in the wrong space. And to keep you from doing that would be to have values that you live your life by, that help to guide you, so that you won't have a problem with getting out of situations and out of circles that you don't belong in, that you're not looking for acceptance and trying to belong with people that you don't need to be in, by people whose values are totally different from yours. You will always feel like a fish out of water hanging out with people or trying to get acceptance or trying to belong to a group of people who have totally different values than you. That's why you need to know your values. That's why you need to know why they're important to you. That's why you need to be able to put them in place so you can see how they generate that excitement and how they get you to the next level in life, so that you can be able to get into a room full of people who have the same values as you, so that you can actually feel valued. So that will go into the belonging video. But we don't have values. The values and the standards that have been set by millionaires was for millionaires. Shut up. What? Yeah, it was. And so they have poured in and they have shown us that these things are valuable. This is how you get clout. This is how you know that you've lived a good life, is if you have accumulated these amount of things. And if you haven't, or if you don't dress like us, if you don't have the things that we have, your worth is now less. You're really not all that valuable. You're really not all that great. But the minute that I come in and I say I'm a millionaire, all of a sudden you're so great. And you may feel great for a little bit. But do you have those positive relationships that were important to you? Are you having fun, if that's something that's important to you? Are you getting to show up as your most authentic self in that space? If you're not, something is wrong and it's time to reevaluate. And I challenge everybody, anybody who watches this video, to take a moment to really think about the things that are important to you and to figure out what those values are. And then start to live by them, start to incorporate them, so that you can find the groups and the places and you can receive the opportunities, so that you can start to become in more alignment and your life will start to level out a bit, right? Because you're actually having a guide for yourself of how you're going to go. You actually know that I'm not going to put up with that because that goes against my values. I'm not going to do that because if I do that, that goes against my values, and then that could cause turmoil down the way. And is that really important to me? Am I really willing to see that, to give up this for that? These are things you have to ask yourself before you start trying to worry about if you belong or being accepted somewhere. 9 times out of 10, if you are asking to be accepted, if you are begging for this acceptance and to belong somewhere, you're asking in the wrong place, because you should be able to walk into somewhere. You should be able to have friends, that you are being your most authentic self, that you are being able to use your values, your core values, traits and characteristics all the time, and not feel like you don't belong. Not feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't. Well, maybe that shouldn't be important to me. You're right. You should not be asking for people to accept you. You should show up as yourself and trust that the universe will send people that are like you, that are aligned, that are in alignment with you and where you're going and how you're presenting yourself. It's not about who you used to be. It's about who you are now and how you see your future self. And do your values align with how you see your future self? Do they? If they don't, it's time to reevaluate those values. And it's time to be able to stand up on those values and let people know, these are the things I value. That's great that that's what you value. I'm over here. And let me find other people who are like this so that we can grow together, so that I'll stop feeling like I don't belong. So I wanted to put that out there because I do feel like the value piece is often missing, and it's being told to us what we should value. And when you're younger, in your 20s and early 30s, and, you start, the things that you value are, whatever they are, partying, having fun, going out, all that stuff, totally fine. No big deal, right? That's the space you're in. As where somebody else values work, stability, success, that's where they're at in their 20s. Totally fine. They hang out with people who value success and work and stability. They don't hang out on a day-to-day basis with the people who are free-spirited and value no rules and no accountability and no stability and being here and there. Those are not people they're hanging out with, because now they feel different, or they are fighting to be themselves in a space that they do not belong in. I personally had to think of values and, are my values still the same? Are my values my mom's values? Are my values based on society and what society says is important that I should find valuable? And, if you don't know where to start, of course you can Google, values. They will pull up a list of words that are values, that people use or that people find important, that people live and make decisions by based off of their values and how they want to show up every day. And I know one of the things that I kind of struggled with over life is just really wanting that acceptance, right? That's why I felt like that question was so good, is wanting to belong somewhere and wanting to be accepted by people. But in that, I didn't have a set of real values that I was going off after or off of to keep me in the spaces. I was kind of like here, there, over there, it's all good. But now that I'm thinking about who I am today and who I want to be and who I'm becoming, it's important that I have those values and that I know what they are so that they can help to lead and guide me. And as I started to want to do these videos and be a coach and start helping people on their journey to become their best selves and reach their goals and really get to fulfill their dreams and have the best life, get the most out of life that they possibly can, I started to wonder, how do I want to show up? How do I see myself? And do they align? And I'll just give you some of my values that I have. I'm not saying they have to be yours, but they're important to me. And one is authenticity. It is so important for me to be real. It is so important for me to be authentic in every space that I'm in. It's important for me to show up as my real self all the time. It maybe wasn't so important a couple of years ago because I was still trying to figure out, but this is me. This is legitimately who I am, right? I am a nurturer. I am a person who cares. I'm a person who asks questions. I like a good debate. I like a good conversation. And I like to ask questions that people are not talking about. I like to get deep into things. Like, that is who I am. I am super silly and fun all the time. That is like this is me showing up, being authentic all the time. And I want to do that across the board. And it aligns with me and how I see myself in the future. So when I'm making a decision to go somewhere or to be in a circle or to be in a space, I'm making that decision with that value in place of, am I going to get to be my most authentic self in this space? Is me being in this group allowing me to be my most authentic self? If I have to tweak and change and hold back and not say and do these things and buy this and be able to go there, and it's not really what I want to do, or it goes against is that where I should be at? I should be making decisions based off my values. And being authentic and real and showing up as myself is important to me because it allows people to know who I am, to know who they're dealing with on a consistent basis. And in that, it will allow me to be the best person that I can be. It will allow me to continue to learn and discover things about myself that I didn't know. It allows me to really appreciate the imperfection of myself and the flaws that are there, right? Because I get to be me. I don't have to pretend that I don't go through things. I don't have to pretend that I'm perfect. I don't have to pretend that I know it all. I get to genuinely say, I don't know. Been there, did that. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, ouch. I'm sorry I hurt you. That hurt me. Did you really think about that? Is that really a good choice? Think about it. If it is, do it. That's genuinely me. And I'm that person with everybody across every board. And if that bothers people, they're probably in the wrong circle when they're dealing with me. Because I want to be myself. That's important to me. Another value I have is compassion. I think it is so important to operate in a space of compassion, that I'm compassionate to myself and to others, because I know what it feels like to be trying to survive and trying to make it, and people steadily picking and pointing and laughing and joking and giving negativity and only focusing on your flaws when you're just trying to make it and being as mean as possible. It doesn't feel good, and it doesn't help the cause. It doesn't help anything to be mean. And so compassion is very important to me, and it's important that I show compassion to myself and that I show compassion to the people that I'm helping, the people that I'm talking to, my friends and my family. It's important for me to show compassion to the people at the store. Is it all the time? Is it sometimes extra work? Yeah, because somebody's being, a bia or, whatever you want to let them know. It's easy to get into that space, but it's important for me to take a minute and show compassion. I don't know what they're going through. That really probably wasn't even geared at me. They're upset about something else. Not take that personally. Have a good day. Okay, then. I mean, yeah, it takes time, but it's important for me to do that, to be that person. It's important for me to say, it's okay, you made a mistake. It all happens. It happens to all of us. We don't have to be perfect. It's okay to fail and pick yourself up and keep going. That's the joy of life. And showing that kind of compassion to yourself and to others allows us to have those relationships that are important to us or of value. Allow us to get into opportunities, to see opportunities and have opportunities presented to us that will allow us to do the things that we really like to do. So that's important to me. I told you fun. Fun is a value of mine. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. Can I take things serious? Absolutely. I know when to be serious-ish. But this is really me. I like to have fun. That's important to me. Life is too short for us to be serious all the time. And 9 times out of 10, we're so serious about things that are out of our control anyway. We can't even control that. And we're so focused on how to control that and how to prevent that from happening and how to show up perfectly and how to not be flawed that we miss out on the fun. We miss out on being present. We miss out on the things that are exciting in life by focusing our energy on things that we cannot control at all whatsoever. And so it's very important for me to be having fun when I'm with my friends. I don't want to sit with my friends and everybody got an attitude. That ain't fun. I ain't doing it. I don't want to go to a family party where everybody's sitting around pointing and talking about folks and whispering and the energy's bad. I don't want to do it. I can come in having fun, but y'all's energy and all of that is a bit much too in itself. I don't want that. If that's not important to you, that's fine. That's your value. But for me, it's important to have fun. It's important for me to have conversations that are fun, that are lighthearted, that are good, that are positive, that are uplifting and motivating. Like, that's fun to me. That's important to me. Because it allows me to be myself and it allows me to help other people around me. And those are things that are important to me. Being of service, helping people, that's important to me. So if you're not sure what your values are, it's time to figure them out. If you know what your values are they still dated? Do they still coincide? Is it time to reevaluate them and get new values? I mean, these are questions you have to ask yourself, like, to be honest. And if you're following me, then you already know I'm all about growth and evolving so we can become the best people and the best person that you could possibly be. Like, that's what my channel's about. That's what my coaching service is about. Even my consulting business and helping small businesses, that's what that's about. It's getting to the next level in the best way possible so that you can live the best life ever and take full advantage, right? It's easy to have a life and just live it and be negative all the time, or you could take it to the next level and live your life. Like, what? Shut up. I know. Amazed. But that is the video that I had today. My videos are getting a little bit longer. I see we've gone about 30 minutes, which is fine. I'm okay with it. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for your support. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that. The consulting business is open. The coaching business is open. I will drop the information down at the bottom. So if you want one-on-one conversations, you have questions, you want to just talk to me, chat with me individually, I will have new information for you to reach out to me. So please look down at the bottom for that. I'm on Instagram, really really trying to get it going. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And I will leave you with this quote. I don't know which author, because it's two authors of the book, Minimalism. But the guy said in it, he said, always be hanging out with people who have the same values. And that sounds a little cliche, but it's so important, because if not, and if you're not sure of your values, you'll be off doing any and everything, making life much harder than it has to be. But if you're hanging out with people who have similar values, you're able to really be able to focus in on some of that stuff and really find your way through life and become in alignment with your purpose and your mission. So figure out what your values are, so that you know when you're in a space you don't belong in, and when you're around people who have the same values as you. Okay? So thank you. Have a great and awesome day. Next video will be on belonging and how to be accepted, how to get acceptance from those around you.